I'm going to be working on onions today. Did you know that you can take one old onion, grow it out, and have the possibility of reproducing dozens and dozens of onions so that you never have to buy onions again? I think that's pretty good. Come join me and let's learn a little bit about propagating onions. Hi, I'm Elise. I'm glad that you stopped by. I'm in Zone 9B, pretty spring day, little bit of a breeze. I've tried to position the camera so hopefully we don't get the breeze in. This is a yellow onion. I just got it from the grocery store, plain yellow onion. And probably most of us have had this happen where it starts sprouting. You don't have to throw this away. You can actually eat these green leaves, chop them up, put them in your sauces, salads, sautés, stews, soups. You can also actually still eat some of the onion itself. The flavor and the texture might have changed a little bit, but you don't have to waste it. It is still good to put in soups and stews. Maybe not that pretty, juicy, sliced onion that you want on sandwiches, but it's still usable. So you can take this onion, divide it out, grow it out, and have the possibility of getting dozens and dozens and dozens of more onions. Just takes a little time and a little patience. Onions. There are dozens of varieties, and they're divided up by what they call day length. There's short day, long day, and neutral day, and that is based upon your planting zone. Now, if I haven't done it already, I will be posting a little video explaining about plant hardiness zones, how to find yours, what they are, why we need to know about them. So keep an eye out for that. So I'm going to divide this onion, and I've seen a lots of posts recently on social media, people asking, can I use this onion? Yes, you can. And some folks say, well, no, it didn't work for me, mine rotted. Some folks say, yes, it did work. And, they're all right. Sometimes they do rot. It's not 100% guaranteed. So let's talk about the onion first. Onions are allium cepa. They're in the genus Allium, in the family Amaryllidaceae, that same family that gives us amaryllis and crinums, garlic, and lots of other plants. Onions grow on bulbs. They grow on what is called a true bulb. I'm going to move the camera on down here. They grow on what is called a true bulb, a tunicate bulb. This brown papery material on the outside of your bulb is called a tunic. Its job is to protect the onion from dirt or insects or anything like that. Next, we have the blades or the leaves that come up. The inside of the onion is made up of what is called scales. All those little layers that you have to cut through, like that, all these little layers, these are called scale, and all they are is a compressed leaf. So when you're eating onions or garlic, stuff like that, you're eating compressed leaves. At the base is a basal plate, and that's where your roots grow out. Now, of course, when you buy onions from the grocery store, all this root has been removed and they haven't sprouted yet. Onions go through a cycle. You can start them off by growing them from seed. Yes, it is very easy to grow from seed. Let me show you. I found a little pack in my seed stash a few weeks ago, and it was just a little pack and it said onion. So I put some in a pot, and look how cute, already forming the base. I have no idea what variety they are, but I'm going to go ahead and transplant them out. Growing from onions is fast. It is easy. Growing onions from seed is fast and easy. Okay, I'm talking really faster than I normally do, but I've got so much I want to cover. So let's go ahead and open this onion up. One more thing before I get started. If you have an onion at home and if you want to try to grow it from the basil plate, you can. When you slice your onion, just slice it and leave a 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch of onion. Put it in a little bowl of water, and these roots will start growing out. Then transplant it out into some soil, either into a pot or directly into a garden bed. Sometimes it will go ahead and grow, and sometimes it will rot. That's the facts. If it grows, it's going to start putting out sprouts like this. Probably won't bulb up like this. But the good thing about it, if it does start putting out sprouts, it will eventually put out a flower stalk called a scape, S-C-A-P-E. It will flower and make seeds for you. Plus, it's a nice project, great for the kids. Easy way for them to learn about propagating. Okay, so you can do that. I'm just going to go ahead and peel all this off as much as possible till I can get in. In fact, I'm going to help a little faster, and hopefully I do not hurt that center part. And looking at this, it's got 3 sprouts. See, that's still firm and it's still juicy. You can use it. I mean, it's still not going to go to waste. It's going into my compost or my earth composting. Earth composting is just digging a hole in the ground and putting your material in that hole to decay naturally. Attracts earthworms, microbes, feeds the soil. Getting closer. All right, so now we're down to the basic part that is sprouting. Still have our basil plate, still have some roots. So let me see if I can go in here and open this up some. This has been laying out in the rain. Probably best not to let it lay in the rain. But okay, so I'm just going to gently take this off and hope I don't do too much damage to the bulb. Okay, so there I have one onion plant. Has some leaves, has some basil plate left. So it should do okay. And to plant it, just get you a little pot of soil, or you can plant directly in the ground. Some folks will put this in a glass of water and water root it. And just put it down in the soil. Backfill a little bit. That's how easy it is. So let's see about these. Onions have been around for just thousands of years. They're one of the oldest forms of vegetables we have. They are considered a pungent vegetable, and they have records of them being used by the ancient people, and onions were very, very important to the early Egyptians. So now I have 2 more plants, both with a little root system and a basil plant. And since they are so small, I can just go ahead and put them all in the same pot for right now. Again, I can put these in bigger pots, individual pots. I can plant them out in the garden. It's that easy. All right, you're going to get folks saying, it won't work. Mine always died. Well, probably. Sometimes they do die. Nature does what it wants to do. Now, none of this is wasted. Let me show you. This is one I started a couple of months ago. It's about 1 foot tall. From the same thing I just showed you. Nice green leaves, very aromatic. I can cut these leaves off and eat them. Now this probably will not bulb up like the bulb we got at the grocery store. And I'll explain why, but I want to show you this first. This is another one from one of the small bulbs like I just showed you. But what it has done is it has started producing another plant off the side of the basil plant. So that's pretty neat. And I think this one is drooping now because all the energy is going over here to this new one. That's just a guess. So it does work, folks, and it's worth trying. If it doesn't work the first time, try it again. I mean, it's an old onion you might not be using anyway, so why not? I also saw a really interesting post the other day that said you could take the tunics off of the onions, dry them, crush them up, and make onion powder, or like onion flakes. So again, nothing on this onion is wasted. I can take these, chop them up, dehydrate them, or freeze them, ferment them, whatever I choose to do, because that was still some nice looking onion. Okay, onions cycle, and you'll get people complaining, well, I didn't get a bulb, and you won't the second time around. These are some old ones that I actually grabbed out of the recycling bin, and I'm going to cut them up just to see what they look like in just a moment. Okay, onion cycle. You start your onion off with seeds. It's going to start with seeds somewhere. As a home grower or a commercial grower, you can use seeds or you can use onion starts. You just buy little onions and they grow up to be big onions. Okay, if you don't harvest that onion, it is going to continue growing and it will put out the greenery. Now, you can eat some of that greenery along the way. The bulb itself probably won't get any bigger. And I don't anticipate these bulbs bulbing out. What I'm growing them for is the foliage. So on tunicate bulbs from out of the bottom of that basil plate that I showed you, on the inside is going to come up a leaf stem, excuse me, a leaf stem and a bud stem or a flower stem. So you can continue growing these and you can eat a little of these greens, but don't cut off your flower stem when it starts coming out. Excuse me, I get a little water there. Okay, so you've got to this stage, and what happens now if you leave it alone, if it doesn't rot, you know, if nature's on your side, these are going to continue growing. And it's going to put out a long stalk that has a head of flowers, almost like an umbel at the end of it. When that dries, it's going to be full of little bitty tiny seeds. If you harvest those seeds, you can replant those seeds your next growing season. You will have an endless supply of self-duplicating onions. You'll never have to buy onions again. It just takes a little time, a little patience. If you do this the first time, they die, do it again. I mean, why not? So let's see what this one looks like. Again, we have this great big basil plate, and look at all the roots. But this is what caught my eye. I want to see, it hasn't sprouted. It just started going bad. But there is the sprout that is fixing to come out. So I could have just laid this aside to see if the sprout would come out. But now, this onion it smells like it's past its prime. But it was this lump here that I wanted to see. Now, I'm going to go ahead and plant this. I have no great expectations it's going to do anything, but it does have a little basil plate on it with a little root. It might go ahead and do something. You never know. You know, gardening is just one great big experiment, folks. Now I can also go ahead, since this isn't really anything exciting in there, cut it off like that and plant that. Just put it down like that. I could put this in a saucer of water, it will grow more roots out, or I can go ahead and put it in the soil. This way does tend to rot easier, but it's still worth a try. I have one more, if I have time. This one's really rotten, but look at the little babies. So let's open this and see what it looks like on the inside. So it has roots, it still has the basal plate connected. I'm going to plant these. I don't know if they'll make it or not, but it doesn't hurt to try. Again, it's just one great big experiment. As we get on into it, the onion is very pithy. It smells really, really strong. So this one really didn't sprout. It started going bad. The onion started going bad before it started sprouting. Again, has a little basal plate, has a little root system. I can stick this in the same pot as I'm sticking the other little root system. And try it. Why not? We'll come back and we'll visit these later. Okay, nothing is wasted again. They'll be earth composted, trench composted, put in a regular compost pile. I don't think many animals eat any stuff in the allium family. One more quick thing to show you. You can also do this with other members of the allium family. And as you know, garlic is extremely easy to grow. A few months back, I made some leek and potato soup. I saved the little white ends of the leek. I put them in a glass of water. They grew roots. They started growing the green sprouts. Look how tall they are. I went ahead and planted them out. Now, I'm going to put these leeks and my onions into a garden bed today, but look, I have to move the camera back because that's as far as it will tilt up. Isn't that nice? Almost 2 feet tall. From a store-bought leek. I can go ahead, trim these off, and eat them. And since leeks really don't grow a big bulb, even though they're in the Amaryllidaceae family, like a garlic or an onion, I can take this leek out at any time and eat it. Isn't that neat? Just a whole world here, folks. A whole world of stuff that you can grow out. So, onions, fast recap. By seed. By starts, which I don't have any starts, but you'll get little starts. And so if you can't find something in your grocery store that you want, a particular variety, you can always buy a start for it. Okay, you can grow it from the little sprouts that come up out of the onion. Now, these look sad, but I think they'll be okay. You can also try growing it from the basil root. And I think they might make it too. So, just don't be afraid to try this great project. This wonderful experiment. Grow them. If they don't make it, try again. You never know when you're going to get some fantastic rewards for your efforts. All right, I'm going to go put these in the ground. I hope you can come back and join me again. And until then, have a fantastic day.